Before we get into today's creepy and mysterious story, we would like to thank everyone who has been with our channel. A place that specializes in bringing you thrilling plots, unexpected twists and secrets hidden behind the mist of the most thrilling detective, horror and thriller movies. If you love stories that make your heart beat faster, making you tensely follow every line, then this is definitely the place where you will find everything you need. And now, prepare yourself to immerse yourself in a story where every detail is like a string pulling you closer to the terrifying truth waiting at the end of the road. Naomi has been living for a long time with a lingering feeling of insecurity, like a dark shadow hovering around her that she cannot dispel. It all started when she noticed an inexplicable change in Haley, the person she once trusted and considered a friend. At first, it was just small, fleeting expressions that seemed harmless. But as time went on, the changes became more obvious and harder to ignore. There were times when Haley became unusually cold, her eyes evasive, her words short, giving the impression that she was hiding something. However, right after that, she suddenly became overly friendly and approachable, as if trying to cover up a crack that was widening. This unpredictable fluctuation made Naomi suspicious, especially when she discovered that Haley often disappeared at the same fixed time frame, leaving behind vague and unconvincing explanations. The feeling of suspicion grew, pushing Naomi into a state that could no longer be ignored. She began to silently pay attention to every habit, every sign, every smallest detail of Haley. Like a detective piecing together the broken pieces of a complete picture. One day, determined to find out the truth, Naomi decided to follow Haley. That afternoon, the sky was gray. The wind was cold and biting, and tiny drops of rain fell like needles on the street. Haley left home at the usual time. Naomi followed from a distance, her steps light as a shadow. Weaving through the dark streets, trying to keep a distance enough to not be detected. Finally, Haley stopped in front of an old building hidden in a remote alley. The surroundings were so quiet that only the sound of the wind whistling through the cracks in the door and the sound of rain pattering on the corrugated iron roof could be heard. Naomi hid behind a mottled wall, observing. When Haley entered a small apartment on the ground floor, the door gently closed, but Naomi noticed that the lock was not locked. Urged by a strong feeling, Naomi approached, gently pushed the door open, and entered. The space inside was dark, the musty smell mixed with the smell of old paper rushed into her nose, making the air even more stuffy. The dim yellow light shone down on the wooden table in the middle of the room. On it was a thick file, piled up with papers, interspersed with photos of the murder scene in Stance Park, a place that had once shocked the whole city. The photos were taken from many different angles, recording every gruesome detail. Blood stains on the ground, a blurry figure in the distance, footprints deeply imprinted on the wet grass. Next to them were numbered tapes, inside there were chaotic sounds, heavy breathing, hurried footsteps and strange, unidentifiable sounds. When she flipped to the carefully typed document, Naomi was frozen. The lines clearly confirmed the identity of the murderer, along with his travel schedule after the crime. But the most haunting thing was the evidence that Haley had known everything all along and not only kept silent but also directly helped the killer conceal his crime, even creating conditions for him to escape capture. Each page was like a cold knife stabbing deep into Naomi's mind, completely destroying all hope that this was just a misunderstanding. In a state of shock and panic, Naomi grabbed the file, hugged it tightly to her chest and intended to leave the apartment as quickly as possible. But when she turned around, the space seemed to freeze as a voice rang out right behind her, cold and sharp, "I think you've seen too much." Naomi slowly turned around, and the image before her eyes almost made her suffocate. Haley stood right in the doorway, her eyes sharp as knives, no longer warm like her old friend. The yellow light reflected on her tense face, highlighting every cold line. In hand, a small knife flashed with cold steel light, as if ready to end everything in an instant. The atmosphere became so heavy that Naomi could hear the blood pounding in her ears. She instinctively retreated, clutching the file as if clinging to a fragile lifeline. But Haley's footsteps were closing the distance, her pace steady and sure, exuding an unwavering determination. The distance between them was now only a few steps. And Naomi knew that she was standing on the fragile boundary between the truth being revealed and the darkness that would forever swallow everything. Will Naomi be able to escape with that important evidence in time, or will she become the next victim in the series of mysteries in Stance Park? The answer is still waiting ahead, where the unrevealed secrets will continue to tie the fates of everyone involved. Don't miss the next developments. Follow and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any dramatic episodes of this story.